right. Hey, Chantal, how's it going? Thank you so much for being on the Elite Agent Talk Show. It's great to have you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Dan. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, me too. Well, first of all, it was fun hanging out with you at PC. Congratulations again at the Bahamas.
Yes, it was amazing. It was a great PC, I think, to go and be a part of.
Yeah, and you're from the state of Illinois, and it's not an easy state to become a PC member. So I want to hear how you became a PC agent and all the great things you're doing with AI and digital marketing, because that's something we've had a lot of conversations in the past. But before we get into all that, can you let us know, how you even got started in the business, what you're doing before, or even however far you want to go back?
Yeah, well, I started my insurance 10 years ago. I was actually in a restaurant. I had graduated 2006 and I started working at a restaurant and I stayed there till for 7 years. Um, I did everything in the restaurant. And at some point, I was like, I want to do more. I want to be more than just, working at a restaurant for the rest of my life. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't want it to be my story. I wanted my children to be like really proud when they said, I remember in school they would always ask, so what do your parents do for a living? I wanted my kids to just be like really proud of like, oh, my mom is this. I wasn't sure what this was, but I wanted to try a new career. So I was lucky at that time. I ran into the opportunity to interview for an insurance agent. It was with American Family. And I went in there and he's like, well, you have great people skills. I love the way you talk. And mind you, my Spanish was not the best, but he wanted someone in Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm really good. So obviously we just had a little bit of a conversation. And then he said, you're hired. I just need you to be licensed. And I was like, oh my God, how do I do that? I remember the dates. Like I went in there on the 24th to interview, March 24th and no, February 24th. I got out of that interview. I went to my 2 days to 25th, 26th. And then I was fully licensed by the 11th of March. I studied really hard. I think I overstudied. I took that test so fast. And I started working with him. And like within like 2 weeks, I got everything done. And after 2 months of being in that office, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Like I loved talking to people. I enjoyed being there. I'm like, this is what I want to do. So, very ambitious since the beginning, as far as like wanting to, I'm very like motivated, very driven to, accomplishing anything I set my mind into. So right away I knew that insurance is what I wanted to do. So I told him I wanted to be an agent and he was just very negative about the whole thing. He was just very like, oh, well, you think this is easy because I make it look easy, but it's really not that easy. And I'm like, well, I know it's hard, but I know I can do it. So things just got shaky till one day he fired me. He fired me on April 1st. It was not a joke. It was not an April Fool's joke whatsoever. But that was the best thing that could have happened to me. After that, I was actually talking to an agent that I used to trade business with on like renewals if rates were too high. She's Elizabeth Estrada. She's an agent in Elgin as well. And I talked to her because she called me to quote something, and I'm like, oh, I'm not no longer there. And she's like, well, you should come talk to my DM. So I'm like, I don't know. I did talk to like Allstate. I talked to Country Financial. I talked to a State Farm agent to be a producer. And at the end, I'm like, I'm just, I don't want to be a producer. So Farmers was the best company to start off with. Honestly, I started off with $5,000 in my bank account and a lot of energy to succeed. And so I'm really grateful for Farmers and the way that they structured their, agency platform. Um, I did career within like 20 days. Um, I sold my 40 and 4 in like 20 days from when they gave me access to dashboard. And
Wow.
from there, I was like, I went up. So right now, I got appointed July 1st. So right now, we're celebrating our 9th year open with farmers.
Wow, congratulations. Just yeah, your work anniversary just passed and your first President's Council that you're earned too. So that's great. Is that a pattern of you to just kind of like you have a test coming up, you just take care of it right away, or is that, because who knew what the insurance, if you didn't, once you started, you knew you're gonna like insurance, but when you first started, that's a lot of commitment for you to get licensed and all that without knowing what the job is even like.
Yeah, I think I just was determined to find a career. And I think I, in my head, was like, I want to be in an office desk. Like I was always in like the uniform for the restaurant, jeans and a t-shirt. And I'm like, I want to dress up. I like dressing up. I like, doing my hair and things like that. And in the restaurant, you couldn't do that. So I just wanted something. And I thought, an office is where I'm going to end up. And I don't really think, honestly, too hard on things. I'm more of like an action. I like, if I see it, I want it, I have it. Like it's like done. Like for me to say I want to do it, like I already know it's the past and I already did it. So I just did it. I actually did take a huge pay cut. I don't know if you've ever been a server, but servers make pretty good money with not a lot of time in the restaurant. So I had my son very young. I was a teen mom. I am a teen mom. At 18, I had him, single mom, and there was no option of failing, and I wanted to just, be someone to him that he could be proud of. So that's what drove me and drives me till this day is, that. But yeah, I did take a pay cut and I was like, you know what, it's fine because I'm learning. And, everything I'm going to learn right now is worth taking a pay cut. I was working more hours and getting paid less. And it kind of sucked, but I am so grateful for that.
Oh yeah, I should be really grateful for yourself for making that decision because a lot of people aren't willing to do that or they don't have the faith in themselves or in the industry that it will pay off later. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us too. Even to this day, if an opportunity or something comes along that's like this totally makes sense, it's not let me think about it. It's not let me plan this out. It's more just do it right away. I think that's that type of taking action is applies all the way throughout our careers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, everything's action. I'm like, I need to move. I can't stay still. It might be my ADHD that kicks in, but it's okay. It's worked so far for me in my life. But yeah, I don't mind change. I kind of embrace change. So I like, whatever's working right now is what I'm gonna jump on and do. I'm not very hesitant. I think my team has adapted to that culture too, that one day we're doing one thing and then the next day it could be something totally different. So that's nice that I also have them to support me because, all of our agencies is our team, and if your team doesn't get on the wagon with you, it's kind of hard to move it. So I'm so grateful for mine. My team is small, but they are so I always tell everybody we're small but mighty because we do a lot with the amount of people that we have.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about your production and your team.
So, my team right now, I hired an intern to help us out with just like cancellation calls and admin work, stuff like that. She just started not too long ago. But our PC year, we only had myself as a producer. Unfortunately, I do produce a lot because I don't have anybody else to produce. I'm trying to get out of it, little by little, but I'm still very hands-on. So myself as a full-time producer, I have a part-time college student. She started with me when she was 18. Now she's 20. She's a part-time producer. She does 20 hours a week, so part-time. And then I have a full-time customer service, and then I have a full-time onboarding girl. And with us four, um, We usually do about 120,000 right now a month. Um, so it's very busy with the amount of people that we have right now. I did hire another producer. She just started. This is her first folio working. So, I have high hopes that we can make it to the 200s very soon. Now that we found a system that works for us on the production side.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of deals that you're closing personally. So, what would you say is your strategy when it comes to just closing deals, that many deals amongst you and another part-time producer? That's a lot of production per person.
I think the way that we have our office structure, where it's like our service only does service, and then our onboarding only does onboarding, our producers only produce, has helped have that system in place. Because our producer, we make the call, we make the connection, we get the information. We have about 5 things on our list that we have to do, and then it gets moved to our onboarding person, and then she's the one that submits documentation verification, which allows our producer not to be stressed about a discount falling off. They're like on to the next call. So we really rely on each other to make sure, once I sell something, I am done. Like I have like 100% faith that my onboarding girl is going to get it done, and she has been able to consistently keep pace on everything that we're throwing at her. So she's amazing. And my service, she's our book is not big. I mean, we're about 3,000 PIF, so it's not huge, but really she's the one that services the whole book because she's the one that takes the incoming calls and does the stuff. So she's amazing. Like I think we just have a very strong team that works well together. We've been together for like a year and a half. I don't have I started hiring till like 2019, honestly. That's when I hired my first staff. And since then, we've had the same type of staff. So we've had them for like 2.5 years now. And I think we're just very, very close, and like we really trust each other. So it comes down to trusting that once I sell something, it's not going to fall off the book, and my onboarding girl's going to catch it. I make sure everything gets done. So yeah, our producers, we just produce, we just make the calls, we do the fun stuff. We don't worry about increased payments. We don't worry about anything. We just have the conversations, collect the payment, and move our lead to sold, and watch the
Hey,
study come.
that is the fun part. I
That's
miss
what we
that.
do.
No, but I think that's great that you're doing that at such an early stage of, your career. Well, not early, but still like, that you're already with the team that you have, because that's something I wish I would have done it sooner. And some people will say like, hey, the fun part is actually the onboarding. The fun part is the customer service. Everyone's different, but the more you specialize, the better you get at your specific job. And I think that's great that you have a system there and each person is so good at their role rather than everybody doing everything and everybody being okay at it. So that's great. So 2019, you started hiring someone. So from when you first started to when you hired somebody, those first 4 or 5 years, how were they and how did you get through that with, not having that much capital to start off with? A lot of agents during that time will probably fall off, not make it as a business owner, but to go all the way to now you have staff and now you're reaching the highest levels that farmers has for achievement clubs. How were in comparison the first couple few years until you were able to hire staff?
They were like survival mode, I think. The good thing is that I like what I did, but it was hard. I mean, it was hard because, having to do everything like now, even now, I think I started hiring till I got to like 1,200 PIF. So even like myself taking care of onboarding, service, and claims and everything, it was just very overwhelming. It was a lot of works, not a lot of hours working with not the production or like the income coming in, so then it was hard. It was really, really hard. Actually, in 2019, I called my DM and I'm like, I'm quitting. I'm done. Like I'm done with
Wow.
farmers. I can't do this anymore. I can't survive with this paycheck. I am done. And I'm like crying because I mean, I was, you know, being at the point that you feel like you're a failure, it's not fun. So I really am thankful for my DM and they came to my office like the next day. Now my DM is Toby, and he used to be someone the salesperson in our district. So now he's the district manager. But they did come to my office the next day, and they took me out to lunch, and they're like, "Okay, what do we need to do? You can't leave." Honestly, I think I was one of their top agents, and I'm like, if I'm your top agent, I don't know how all these other people are doing it because I can't survive on this. I always did sell a lot. I mean, even by myself, I would sell like 40, 50, even in those times, 20, 30, I was never like a producing agency. I've always sold life. I've always sold commercial. I'm very balanced in all of my lines. So but it was just not enough for me. I was struggling financially, and they're like, "Well, there's this protege program," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I heard about that." And they're like, "It's really good. They'll pay you whatever." And then I'm like, "Okay." I did also was like, "Okay, well." I really haven't been working 100%. Like I've been going to work, I've been going home, I've been coming to work late, I've been working from home because I can answer my phone everywhere. So I know I was like, you know what? I realized, and it kind of sucks to look in the mirror and be like, actually, you haven't been doing everything you can. Um, and actually admit that you're not who you think you are. So I did tell them, I think I've been giving this whole thing about 60% of of me. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna try to be an overachiever and do 120%, how people say I'm gonna give it 120. I'm just gonna get to 100. So I'm gonna go to work at a certain time, leave at a certain time, and I'm gonna hire someone. So I think I put a post on Facebook and I got a hit, and she came in, she got licensed, and she became my protege. She graduated, and since then I've had a protege every year. Right now I don't have one. This is the first year right now that I don't have a protege, but I think proteges did help me grow my agency and stay alive, and gave me back energy, because now I had someone else that was looking at me if I showed up to work, if I left early, and have accountability to what I said I was going to do. And then also, supports on the sales, support on the service, and all of that. So since then, she graduated, I think was like a year. She graduated in a year. Then I had another one the next year. So far, we've graduated 4 proteges. Um, and right now we should be getting one in August 1st should be her start day. So I think that program really saved me. And then my district manager just coming in and actually being like, okay, what do we need to do, really helped a lot. So
Yeah.
it was a struggle. But after that, after I hired my first person, I'm like, oh God, I should have done this a long time ago. So then it was just like find more and then find more people. It's hard, obviously, to hire people, but it's we're always like interviewing now. Like I'm always trying to interview people. We always have an ad up to make sure, we don't miss anybody. And like you said earlier, like I hire based they have to do 2 assessments. So I do the ideal traits assessment to assess their, their work ethic, or what they're going to be good at. And I do a color code, and that's more of a personality assessment. And it just allows us to be able to work with each other and understand why we work a certain way, based on you know, our being of who we are, what type of personality we have. So we do that training once a quarter. We bring as the specialist for that course for color code. and we just talk about how every color relates to each other, how to deal with each other in conflict. We also like focus on like the family, how to deal. My laptop. So
Yes, sorry, she's they're taking a vacation, so she wants to say bye.
oh, it's okay. Yeah, so we do even like family color code meetings so they can communicate. So their husbands or their significant others also take the test. So then when we do the training, we also do not just training between work people, between coworkers, we've done it for like how to work with our children that are different colors and how do we work with our spouses that are different colors because it's really important for them to be in a good mental health outside of work for them to really give it 80% in my office. I don't ever expect anybody to give it 100% because sometimes I don't give it 100%, but I think if our team can give it a 80%, we're good.
Yeah, especially if everybody, that's a lot of people instead of one person, doing 120, four or five people doing 80%, that adds up to a powerful force.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though, that personality course that you keep doing it every quarter, huh? You keep doing it and
Yeah.
that training has helped you guys as a team.
Yeah. And
Wow.
actually, we started it because two of the girls were not like they were not they were butting heads and I'm like they're both really good at what they're doing, but I know their personalities were totally different, so we decided to incorporate this into our agency, and now every single person that I hire gets the personality test to see where they're at, so everybody knows how to work with them, how because everybody, me, you can just tell me, Chantal, go do this and not say thank you, you're welcome or nothing, and I'm fine. I'm gonna go and do it. But there's some people that, that come with emotion and they like that. And you want to make sure that everybody's being talked to in the way that they best receive information so they can be the most successful in the agency. So it's good for all of, and it's a team bonding. We do a lot of team bonding things in our office. So yeah, it works for us.
Yeah, you guys got the Hawaii thing going on this month, right? I
Yeah,
saw that earlier.
we have our Hawaiian, and this is like the cutest actually. This is a little lamb. Look how
Oh,
cute.
nice. Pineapple lamp.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we have Hawaiian theme. We have different themes every month. We are doing themes.
yeah, that's great for team chemistry. I think the better you understand each other, the better you can work with each other. And that's great that you're really thinking of trying to understand them better so you guys can work better together. And yeah, great story there that you share with us, how the protege program helped and how hiring people have helped you um, stay accountable and how your DM helped. But I bet that really worked out for him because all these proteges you brought out for him.
Yeah,
So
I
I bet he's
really
very
did work
happy.
out for him, and now they're like, Chantal, you want more proteges? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think I like the protege because it gives the opportunity for someone like, how I was, a single mom in 24. I was 25, I think, when I started. It gives us an opportunity that maybe we wouldn't think we had. And because the agent I work with was so like negative about me becoming an agent instead of supporting me, I'm like, I'm not stopping anybody from doing anything they want to do. I'm gonna support you through the finish line and beyond. I will be here. So I just pay it forward on something that, he didn't do for me, but I am able to do for other people. So
Yeah, because you understood how it felt not to be supported. So you kind of want to make sure you do the opposite of that. But yeah, just getting started. I mean, that's crazy that I didn't know that you had such a situation where you're that close to um, giving up. That's
yeah.
super close. And then that's 2019, and 4 years later, President's Council agent in Illinois. So tell us what are some things that turned it around from I'm giving up to becoming one of the top agents in the whole state.
Well, I mean, I think that reaching out for help and getting other agents support really does wonders. So if any agent that's watching this doesn't really have a colleague support or a colleague to talk to, I really advise that they reach out to someone because we are all facing, similar struggles. So it's kind of two heads think better than one head. So it's really good to share and ask for help and see what's working with other agents. So I remember even like I think in 2019, 2020, I saw your post about, helping agents with leads. And at the time, I barely had money to pay. I didn't understand the concept that I had to spend money to make money. And I barely had money to pay my first staff. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then last year, actually in 2023, January, we had like a $20,000 month. And at that time, I started 2023 with two proteges, I think. And then the two and a half that I have, and we were doing 20,000 and I was like, oh my God, I cannot end the year like this. So, I decided to call you. So I really thank you because you're the reason. And I told you PC and I messaged you when I got President's Council and I got the call. You're the reason why we're here. You gave us that hope of like there are people out there that want quotes and we're not just sitting here trying to get a quote from, the streets and events and things like that. So I think, being able to trust on other agents that are successful, it's amazing. It's amazing that our agents are willing to help. Because, I came from the agency that didn't want to help me become an agent. So I think that you're a big part of why we are President's Council. And I will forever thank you for that. Reaching out to Richard, Salinas. I did a lot of conventions. I know people probably think I'm just sitting here traveling the world and not working, but I go
Mhm.
to conventions and learn, and then I go out and, have a drink too. But I went to a lot. Like I attended so many like learning conventions to learn anything I could learn. And Richard Salinas opened his agency twice. He opened it in 2020, I think in 2022, and then 2023. He opened it to us, to a group of agents from Illinois, went down there to his office and he welcomed us and he showed us and he gave us so many good things that we took away from his office. And and being able to implement all that, that's what brought us to PC, obviously. It's also us, right? Because I talk to agents and I'm like, you can ask a lot of questions, but if you don't do any actions, it's pointless. It's pointless for the person that took the time to tell you, and it's pointless for you to take the time to ask. So we are, like I said, I'm very like, let's go. Like, okay, I have that. I'm gonna go and do that. So I do have, that what is that, a 72-hour rule? I do look at like things that I want to implement right away, and I try to do them like actually I try to do them like 24 hours because I know my ADHD is gonna kick in and I'm gonna forget and I'm gonna get another idea. And that was a good idea that I missed out on. So, I think connecting with other agents and having other support is amazing because, I really feel like, at least with farmers, it is a family and everybody's just willing to help. So thank you
Yeah.
again, because
Oh, yeah.
it
No,
really,
thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. But I love that you gave yourself the credit at the end there. And it kind of goes back to the beginning of our conversation that you took action. Sometimes when they say like, hey, thank you for making the videos or doing the lead things or something like that, well, you should thank yourself because, everyone else had the same opportunity to inquire or take action too, but they didn't. So at the end of the day, the credit goes to the person who took the action with that information because information is there. So that's great to hear, though. I do remember your situation. You're letting me know you're interested, but the financial
It
situation
was
is
like three
difficult.
years. I went back for our messages. I'm like, oh my God, I reached out to you in 2020. I reached out to you in 2022. And then I finally pulled the trigger in 2023. I'm like, oh my God, I could have been a PC like 3 years ago.
Okay, that's the one thing you waited on, but at least you got started on.
I'm like, all
And
right, but it's better late than never.
yeah, and then Richard, a great agent of ours, he's helped so many of us, including me too. But that again is great advice, and going to conferences. You were actually, on the panel at Embrace. Great job there now. So now instead of going to just conferences, now you're part of the conferences too. So that's awesome to see you up
Yeah,
there
that's kind
presenting.
of, we when you go, you're like, one day I'm gonna be there, and then it's one day you are there, and there's always like another like something else that you want to accomplish, which I think it's great. I mean, I remember seeing you at I think the first time I heard you speak was with in Dallas when we flew out for flats training in Dallas. So we went there and you were there, and I'm like, oh, I right after that, I think, yeah, because that's right before I called you and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I love going to them. I get so much inspiration from them. I try to go to a couple a year that are not like necessarily free or anything. Like I pay for it, like and I'm fine paying again and again because you really learn a lot.
Yeah, so it's great advice to go get out there, reach out to great agents that are doing great things. And yeah, I think a lot of times what's holding us back is stuff that we don't know. So how else are we going to learn unless we, pay and meet people and get around people that want to learn too. So going to conferences has been a huge impact in my career too. So yeah, thank you for sharing that part too. Tell us a little bit what you shared with us off on stage because I thought that was great at Embrace.
Yeah, so after you helped me out and I was trying to figure out how I was not gonna have a $20,000 a month because I was very mad. I was very angry. I was angry. And of course, because we're human, we get angry at other people first before we look at ourselves and we're like, well, you could be doing other stuff. So I was angry and I was mad and I was like, how? So I held a meeting, with my staff and I'm like, why are we doing 20,000? Like this is the most people I've ever had, and this is the least amount of money I've ever made. I'm like, I'm not running a non-for-profit here. What's going on? And they all kind of told me the same thing. They're like, we're slammed with service on like small things, like little small things. And I'm like, okay, so I need to figure out systems to get rid of that. So, early, right? I mean, I think we started working with you in February. In March, I'm like, all right, let's get some things going. So I did a lot. And I think I mean, I want to say last year I spent over $15,000 in like trainings, conventions, flying out, trying to learn. But I ran into a course and it was like AI, and I'm like, oh God, I'm horrible. I don't even know how to do my what is it, the system upload in my iPhone. Like I don't even do that. Like I have the oldest ISO because I don't even know where to go for that. So I'm like a dinosaur and all that, but I'm like, this is where it's going from everything I'm learning and I'm seeing. So I started like implementing a lot of automations and integrations to do workflows that relieves time from my very small, because by May, I was down to the girls that I was telling you, like the two and a half. Because one protege graduated in March, and then the other one I had to let go because it was not working out. So by March, no, May, we were down to where we had the rest of the year, and we had more calls and we needed to release some of that time, time and energy on service on things that doesn't really bring us money, new business money. And so we just started implementing a lot of workflows, a lot of automations. And even like my, at the time, producer, she was a producer, but she was also onboarding. At the time, she wasn't onboarding. My onboarder didn't come in till October of last year. So it was just us three, part-time service and myself from like May to October. So she was doing a lot. Everybody was trying to just keep up, right? And she's like, "You're taking all away all my jobs." And I'm like, "No, we're like buying time. We only have 24 hours. We only have 8 hours in the office, literally probably seven because of the break. We can work more, but we can buy time by doing workflows that are used, with integrations and automations. So, we automate Google reviews, we automate our gift cards with our realtors and dealers and anybody like our lenders. The gift cards automate on their own as soon as we get the lead. So she doesn't have to sit there and look up who gave us a lead, who gave us this. They fill out their form and their gift card gets sent to their email. So we automate, our folders are automatically done in our drive. My Facebook, I post every day on Facebook. My Facebook is all automated. I don't post anything on my Facebook page. Everything is just already automated. Um, so I do a lot of like different things on my Facebook page, but that's automated. It used to take me like an hour and a half or 2 hours to create a post and what I was gonna say. Now every day at 10 o'clock, if you open your Facebook, you're gonna see me. And I don't do that anymore. So we bought a lot of time. A lot. We did, the amount of things that we automate right now in our office, um, is a lot. Like we buy so much time back. So that allows my staff to work on the things that generate income for the agency. So now my producer, even though she's here part-time, she works 20 hours, so about, 80 hours a month. She produces about 34,000. But then she also does renewals. She does all of her renewals and all of my renewals. So that's a lot of, renewals for her to do. So I think even in her part-time, she's part-time producing too. So, because of all the workflows that we've created and we've been able to implement, we are able to still produce large numbers and production with less people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that's really I love talking about that, buying back your time. I think that's a great concept too of just like there's only so much time. So instead of like how do we, try to sell more, it's kind of like how much time can we save to then use that time for more income producing activities. And now it sounds like I saw that you actually have a program for agents too, right? Is
Yeah.
that for that stuff like that?
Uh-huh. So our program is um, AI for for not farmers agents. I'm only really teaching it to farmers agents right now because that's who my people are. But it's for agents, insurance agents. I was talking to a lot of districts, and a lot of them were like, "Okay, but how do you do it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a lot, so I can't really tell you how I do it in like a 30-minute, presentation to your district." So I felt very like uneasy because it's like they want to know, but you don't have enough time to sit down with every agent individually. So I think I went to like four different districts in April, I think. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do, I will do a boot camp. We got this boot camp in 1 week. Like I created the booklet, we created everything in 1 week. We had 15, I think 14 agents sign up for the first boot camp. So far right now, we've done like about 4 boot camps and about 35, 36 agents have attended. Um, and it's just a system that really works. We are doing our we teach how to do your Facebook leads, to generate your Facebook leads, to generate the automations, to generate your social media content, to, do the Google review replies, do all of that stuff. And now I'm like, I can't keep doing them because they do take time for me. And I mean, and we do charge for it, but even though I do charge, I still a lot of time that it takes away from me to get prepared to go to take a whole day out of my office. And Camila, which she's my part-time producer, she helps me with this. So then I take her out of the office. And if it's just me and her, we have like a day of no production, and then we have to get ready for it and then do follow-ups. So it's been becoming, it's a lot, but I still want to help. So we just moved it to a digital version. So now it's just, we've done videos a step by step on a specific thing. So now everything's broken down. So it's really nice. I'm really happy that I still get to help. And it's a little bit more detailed because in the camps, we only try to do 10 agents at a time just to make sure that everybody was on pace and nobody was left behind. But now you can just do it on your own pace. Because I know it's also hard for agents to leave their office for a day, and it was a lot of information. Like they were excited, but then it's like, oh my God, like this isn't a whole overhaul of changing your whole agency. I really do think it's a really great system. A lot of the agents that have gone and have implemented it, they're top in Illinois. So I'm very happy that it does work. It's something that really works. And as long as you, like I always say, this could be the best $750 you've ever spent in your life, or this could be the most meaningful, like pointless money that you've ever spent in your life. And it's just at the end of the day, like I said, it's if you take action and do it. If you don't take action, then it's gonna suck like any other program you've ever bought. But if the agents that have implemented, I mean, they text me all the time, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, this, oh, that. So I'm very happy that we get to help. Um, because not helping sucks. Like, I don't know. I'm like, when they were asking me and I didn't tell them exactly how I did it, I felt bad. I'm like gatekeeping things. I feel really bad. I talk so much that I can, like, it's not with me to gatekeep anything. I want to tell everybody like, oh my God, this works. Do this, do that. So now we built the modules and the program on our website to be able to, do it at your own pace.
Nice. Yeah, maybe after this, you could give me the link to that website so anyone who's interested could check it out. Because you're right, automation saves so much time. It's almost like having extra employees at your staff member, at your agency. They never miss work either. They're very consistent, and they don't have bad days. They don't get emotional. So yeah, having
Yeah, they don't have, they're on 100, 100%. They're the ones that give you the 120%.
right.
Because you're like, oh, like being able to walk in my office and have like text messages saying, oh yes, I want it. And they had a whole conversation pretty much on their own because all of everything that comes in our office is automated. So we could go into a system that in our, we use agency Zoom right now. We go into agency Zoom and they pretty much had a conversation on their own and they're ready to, buy, like pay for it. So we just come in the office, we call them, we get the payment and we move on. So it's really nice. That's why we're able to do what we do with the amount of people that we have right now, because I did hire a full-time, and then I have that person that the girl that works with us doing the cancellations and stuff like that, kind of internship program. I'm hoping we're gonna get to the next level of our of like 200,000 with just pretty much two producers.
Yeah, well, when you say hope, I think you're underrating yourself because yeah, I know for sure you're gonna be able to do it. I think one of the things, the combination of taking action, right away and getting information and also just leveraging technology. I think that's something that agents may struggle with at times. It's like something new, they're kind of scared about it. What is your thought process when it comes to technology, things changing, and how to take advantage of that?
I think because of how I make decisions like on a fly, like really fast. Like if something's not working, I change it. Like I don't question it. I'm not like, oh, it might work. And like even like people, people that I hire, like if I already know it's not going to work, we need to let them go. If a system is not producing what I needed to do, then I need to change it. I think just being able to be aware of, I know sometimes our ego becomes in our way because we had that idea and we have that system, and then realizing that it doesn't work is like, it kind of hurts, but I don't care. I'm like, I rather make money than have a big ego. So I'm like, I change it. And I do, and like bring my staff into every decision. Like, I'm like, oh, I have an idea. And then I tell them, and they're like, I don't think that's gonna work. And I'm like, oh, I thought that was good. And then, I just go back. So I think just being able to be open and not put our ego in between anything, change is great. I mean, I tell agents all the time, I'm like, well, if we don't move with the time, with the technology that we have, we're going to be left behind because these new agents that are coming, and I don't consider myself a new agent. I am new, but not that new, because those agents that are like 1, 2, 3 years, they're like on steroids. So I'm like, if you don't get it together, you're going to be run out of the town because every career, every job, whatever you have, if you're not leveraging AI, you're going to be left behind. Um, and it's fast. It's moving so fast because even we still implement new workflows in our agency right now. It's not like something that we did and now it's done. Like we're still implementing more things because technology is just moving so fast. So I think being able to just think on the fly and be like, this is not working, let's go. And let's do what is working is what really helps us. And I swear my team is the best because they're so like willing to just try it. And then they do give me honest feedback of like, hey, that didn't work. Like, let's not do that again. So yeah,
Yeah,
they
no, that's great. Well, the team is adaptable because I think they follow your leadership. I think if you're adaptable, and I think it also speaks volumes that you have the humility to want to listen to them, get their feedback too. And when you make a mistake, you're right. Sometimes ego gets in the way, like, oh no, my system was good, or I'm good at hiring people. Like those are things that you want to tell yourself, but like you said, we're not here to feed our egos, we're here to feed our families. So sometimes that gets in the way of making money. And I think that's great that you don't have any, because yeah, same thing. I make mistakes all the time. I tell my team I'm going to continue to make mistakes. We're going to learn from them, but we need to make adjustments and we will. So I think that's a great story of just not only taking action, but I think what helps you be able to take more action is that you know that you could not like, go backwards on it, but if you take an action, it's not working, then you pivot right away. So that makes each action not that heavy of a consequence. Like it's not like you have to do that forever. It's like, hey, why don't I take action? And if it doesn't work, then I'll just course correct. So I think that's the way you're moving, and that is the speed of business, how it's fast it's moving right now.
It's
And making
moving
those
so fast. I'm like, I'm trying to catch up, and I'm like, some people are like, I think you're ahead. I'm like, no, I'm like still like running in the back trying to catch up to everything that, I think like I said, there's so many new agents that are just like blowing it out of the water. I'm just like, what is going on? And if I don't get my together, I'm going to fall behind. So I try to just, keep swimming as much as I can and not be left behind. So yeah, that's kind of how I go. I mean, sometimes it is not the best thing, right? Because you're like, well, did we move too fast from that? But I think everything has aligned for us that we have been very, very, very lucky and blessed that we've done the right turns and made the right decisions, and and trusted. I think trusting in myself is the greatest thing that I have. Um, and I always tell people like I'm God's favorite. Like every day I'm like, I'm God's favorite. And they're like, no, I'm God's favorite. I'm like, yeah, you are, but I'm God's favorite. Like that there's no like anything I say, I get it done. Like it's just not a question. That's how you build confidence, it's by what doing what you say you're gonna do and not doing it for anybody else, but for yourself. So I make sure that everything I say out loud, it's like just need a date stamp on it, because it's gonna happen. So I think that's why the staff is just like, all right, she's going, so let's go because she's gonna make it with or without us. So let's just get on it because she's not gonna slow down. So it's nice, but sometimes they do tell me we started generating, we started working with just personal leads, and that worked great. We getting so many leads, and then I'm like, I need commercial because I almost didn't make it for PC because of my commercial numbers. Because I was so focused on personal lines and life, I kind of let go of commercial. And this year, I'm like, it's not going to happen. Now, my commercial is not. I wrote 10 commercial policies the last week of folio in December
Wow.
to get PC. So I'm like, that is not happening again. I am not gonna wait the last minute of of my year to get what I need. So we started generating commercial leads. So right now we generate commercial leads. We get the cost of my commercial lead is like $10 a lead, and then
Wow.
we're writing about 25 to 30,000 a month now in commercial. Most of it is farmers. So we write very little outside of farmers, but most of it is with farmers. And it was trusting myself too. Like one night I couldn't sleep. I worked on, I almost retook my class on what I say in personalized and just translated in commercial. I did my ad. I put everything out there at like 1:32 in the morning, and by the time I got to work, I had like 3 leads, and I'm like, oh, this is working. And then the same thing I did with life. My life lead is only $5 a lead, and we've been closing life policies through generating our own leads. So it's trusting in yourself and jumping. Even when it's scary, I just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? I might fail, but then at least I know where I failed at, and then I can correct it. And if it's the whole thing is just failure, then I move on. I'm like, I tried and I move on. So
Yeah.
it's a lot about trusting yourself, and not doubting yourself. We're all business owners, and we all made this decision, and we're here because we have something in us. So we have to continue building on that trust within ourselves to get us to the next level.
It also helps that, we're God's favorite too.
What?
It also helps that we're God's favorite.
Oh, yeah. Being God's favorite is like up there. Like I'm like literally God's favorite. I'm telling you.
But yeah, that positive self-talk, I've heard it over and over again in our conversation. I'm lucky, even though you should get so much of the credit, you always kind of like say a lot of things about, hey, I got lucky, my staff, I'm blessed. I think that's such a right mindset to have, and I think that helps you not be scared of making the wrong decisions because you just a positive thinker and you just feel like you're blessed and things will work out. So I think that's such a great attitude, such a refreshing attitude to hear. And I think that's what business owners need. We need that belief in ourselves and that things will work out because there's so much uncertainty. There's so many actions we could take. What are we supposed to do, But just having in the back of our mind that things will work out, someone's looking out for us, good things happen to me, even if I make a mistake, having the confidence that I could fix things. I think we had a great opportunity to get inside your head of how and why you're able to come from where you started to where you are now. So it's a great story. I'm sure, you know, um, you said kids, right?
I have
Um,
three, yeah, I have
oh,
five,
three? Okay.
three,
Yeah.
18. He's about to be 18 and
Oh,
he's
wow.
just waiting for him to be 18. But I have 18, 12, and 7.
Okay, there you go. Well, I'm sure that was the original plan, for them to be proud of you. And that's something that you would definitely accomplish, Chantal.
Thank you. Yeah, they are very proud of me. My son's like always like, how do you do? Did you guys do well? Did you guys sell a lot? So it's nice. They're so supportive.
And yeah, that's a protege or a new producer in the making,
Yeah,
maybe.
that middle child, the trouble child, he's gonna be something. I think I'm hoping he's the one that takes over the agency. He definitely has mom's attitude on getting things done.
Oh, great. That's exciting. What else is exciting for you and your future as an agency, would you say? Moving forward, the next,
Um,
we kind of went back where you started, first few years, how you made PSC, and now from here on out, what are you looking at? Are you looking at wanting to help more agents, or are you looking to kind of focus on scaling your agency, or what do you see happening?
so right now, I really like helping agents. I was talking to my DM and he's like, "How's everything going?" And I'm like, "It's great. I mean, I'm helping these agents. I did this platform. I think it's just amazing. And honestly, I like it a little bit more than selling insurance." And he's like, "Yeah, it's because it's new." Obviously, he's like, "Don't do that." But no, I mean, I really enjoy it. I really do enjoy helping agents, and I really enjoy learning new integrations and new things that I can put into my office. But I do want to grow and scale my agency. I think the first 5 years were just, I was a producer in my agency and I was just making enough money to pay my bills. And sometimes not even that.
Mhm.
And right now, this last 4 years have been just growth and really enjoying it in the sense of the business ownership, part of the whole business that I wanna be the best business owner because I know I already am accomplished being the best producer, but I want to be the best business owner and see how big I can grow my agency. And yeah, I definitely want to learn from agents on, buying agencies and just being able to hire more producers. And I think we have a system right now that works. Like our system, I'm like in love with my system. I think is one of the best out there. And I just need those pieces, more producers because I can just turn up the knob on my leads. I just need the bodies that are able to sell, right? So I do want to get at least 5 producers because I think with 5 producers we can get to 400. I don't think we need a lot of producers to get a lot of premium. I do right now. I'm hiring. Their minimum production is 50,000. That's what they have to be. So just scaling it, and I want to see how big and fast we can grow. But also having that part of buying, acquisitions. So I really want to focus on that. I'm telling you, my ADHD kicks in all the time though. So I'm probably going to be doing both of them at the same time, like helping a lot of agents and then like growing this thing as fast as I can. And that's the beauty of it. It gets exciting.
That really is the beauty of it. And sometimes some seasons you're really hot with one thing and then the other. But I think that's the cool thing about being a business owner is we get to choose our own actions and choose our own destiny. So yeah, I
It
sound
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think that helping the agents and this whole like boot camp and doing this, it's my hobby. It's something that I enjoy doing, and I don't think of it as work. And I like it. It's my distraction from my agency. So I think that's why I do enjoy it a lot because it's like, for some people they watch, I don't know, maybe they watch TV or they play video games or they go golfing. For me, it's like building a whole new thing that can really help and seeing that it does work. Like it's like, wow, like I know I built something that really does work. So it's nice to just have a hobby, and right now that's my hobby, and I really enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's a very productive hobby. It's a profitable one too. And I do feel like sometimes when you're helping out other agents, it's you're reinforcing what you should do to yourself too. So you're actually helping yourself by coaching or helping other agents.
Yeah,
So
a
you're
lot.
also receiving the coaching yourself to yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm doing, and then sometimes I'm like, oh God, like an agent called me. He's like, I think we're just quoting a lot and we're not selling, but I'm like, oh, I'm like, I think you're getting cocky. I think because you have so many leads, you don't nurture them the way that you're supposed to. And then I'm like, oh my God, I need to go to my office. So then I came into my office and I'm like, okay, we're not there, but we cannot get there. Like you guys cannot get comfortable. Like we are not like, we get so many leads every day that I'm like, hold on, we cannot be spoiled. We need to do this, we need to do that. So as I was talking to him, I'm like, yeah, I need to say all of this to my staff. So yeah, we learn from helping people and so it's fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And the more you give, the more you get back. And that's something that you've done today, Chantel, by giving us a lot of nuggets. It's funny that you said that you're behind, but you're so ahead when it comes to lead generation and marketing and stuff like that. These are stuff I love talking about. So if you don't mind, we'll kind of continue the conversation on a separate day. It's 4th of July weekend, so we gotta
Yeah.
enjoy the weekend here. But let's keep in touch and share ideas of what's working because we could always keep using technology to make our jobs easier and our producers' jobs easier and the whole industry's job easier. So I think you're onto something really special, really cutting edge that's going to help a lot of agents. So I'm really happy that I got to share this message with my audience. And we're going to hopefully continue to work with each other and
Yeah, of
share
course.
ideas and help each other out.
Of course. Thank you, Dan, for having me. And yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how we end this year, but I'm excited to see everybody else's production because it's definitely not 2019 or 2018 when I started. I'm telling people are on steroids right now with their production, and I'm like, I cannot be left behind.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
no,
be right
yeah, no,
there.
I know. Second half of the year is gonna be a very strong one. But anything else that we missed out on that maybe you wanted to mention before we go?
No, I'm just, I'm so happy I met you. I'm happy that you were able to help me and, achieve something I have been wanting to achieve. And now I just got to keep on doing it, right? It's like you get one, but you got to keep on going and getting it done. So, I think, by being able to help others, I believe in good karma. And I think it's going to come back to where I am going to be able to reach that. So I know I do want to thank you for helping me achieve that first one, and opening my eyes to what was out there. And I hope that, people check out our platform and they can also be benefit from all of this because it really does work.
No, yeah, I'm really glad to get it out there. I hope people take advantage of it. I want to learn from you myself too. And yeah, thank you for saying that too. Since we've been kind of communicating with each other for a while, and I communicate with a lot of agents though, and you hear someone's name pop up that they made president council, it's like, oh, that's somebody I work with. You really made me proud. So I want to thank you for making me feel good about what I'm trying to do with this, these videos and systems that I wanted to share too. So thank you for making it something worthwhile for me. And I'm not the only one that's proud. Once again, your whole family, your kids, you accomplished your dream. And but the exciting part is this is just the beginning, how technology is going and how fast you're moving and how much action you're willing to take. So looking forward to see you continue to rise, Chantal. It's been a great conversation, and
Yeah.
looking forward to keeping in touch with you.
Thank you. Have a good 4th of July.
All right, you too.